Gem Power. This is where we give you strategies so you can be successful and effective in anything that you want to do. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, my main man Earl over here from the Kairos Experience, which is a global training company working with the likes of Microsoft, Speedo. I'm not going to tell you anymore. The list goes on. Okay, he's going to be utilizing a book from Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, this book has sold over 25 million books worldwide, okay, following the habits of highly effective people. Now, Earl's going to give you the things that you need to do, the practicals that you can do from the book that you can implement today to make it happen in your life. So this is when I step back and hand over to the master facilitator himself, Mr. Earl Lynch.
Thank you,
over
David.
to you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may remember from the foundational principles, and we had 6 key foundational principles: habits, principles, paradigms. We looked also at
emotional bank
accounting,
yeah.
PPC balance,
yeah.
And we finished off with 3-person teaching.
Yeah.
So once those foundations are established, then we can start to move into the habits.
Oh, okay, got it.
Now, there are 3 levels of maturity. There's a low level, which we call dependence.
Yeah.
There's a middle level, which is called independence.
Yeah.
And the highest level of maturity is called interdependence.
Interdependence.
Yeah, so so we're going to learn about those levels of maturity.
You're going to break them all through that.
Yeah, and we're going to learn how to move from the lowest level, dependence, to independence, using habits 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so the 7 habits, we're going to just focus on the 3 today.
First 3, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Sounds really good.
And those first 3 habits will give you what we call the private victory.
Oh, okay.
So if you're ready for the ride?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
All right,
guys,
so
that's the question. Here we go.
Here's the first thing.
Yeah.
Let's get an understanding of this level of maturity.
Yeah.
If somebody is dependent, what does that mean?
I'm thinking like the context that comes to me is like a child.
Yes.
Like a child is dependent on the parent.
Yes. And what kind of questions does the child ask?
Like why?
Why?
Yeah.
And imagine the child is hungry. What does the child say?
Give me.
Yeah. Mommy, daddy, feed me.
Yeah.
So young children and the very elderly, we could describe those as being dependent. And their level of maturity, therefore, is not high because they are dependent upon others to do things for them.
Got it.
Will you do this for me?
Yeah.
Will you do this for me?
Right.
Now, here's the thing. In a business, can you have dependent people?
You can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. In an organisation we have.
Yeah, you just imagine if I were to be a new recruit into your business as of next week, what would be some of the questions that I would be asking?
How do you do this?
Yeah, how do I clock in, or how do I keep my records? Where do I keep my
Can
codes?
you give me access
Can you give me access?
Right.
Where is my computer? How do I log in?
Yeah.
Where's the canteen? How do I claim expenses? How do I get my wages? What's the process by which we do this? Can you help me? Can you help me?
Yeah.
So clearly, with a new employee, you can see they're going to be very dependent.
Got it? Yeah, makes sense.
And they can't move to independence yet until they learn some of the key things. Absolutely, and get on board.
Yeah.
So we need to move them from there so that they can stand on their own 2 feet and get into that second level where they can be truly, let me put it in there, independent.
Independent, okay.
Now, let's just go here for a while.
Yeah.
Somebody who's independent, what kind of things do they say? Think of who's striving in a family for independence.
Teenager.
Oh, you got it.
Teenager, man. My daughters are like that.
You got it.
Don't tell me what time to go to bed. I go to bed when I want to go to bed. I don't need your help. I don't need that.
You know it, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm getting that right now.
Mom, I'll bring the plates down in my own time. Mom, I know I got glasses in there. I'll bring it down in my own time. Listen, I've got the key to the door. You don't have to tell me what.
That sounds like my household.
Right, so you can see the strive for independence, but occasionally you get, Mom, will you come to the dentist with me? Or Dad, can you come to the doctors with me, right? So you know, they're not quite mature yet, but they're striving for it.
Got it.
But we're going to learn, how do you get from dependence to independence?
Okay, that's interesting.
Like I said, there is one level of maturity above all of this, which is interdependence. But we'll come to that on another occasion.
Okay.
All right, so This whole journey is going to lead us to the private victory.
Yeah.
Now we're going to start off with habit number 1. Habit number 1 is be proactive.
Oh, okay.
Right, so if you're proactive, it means don't be reactive. You ever had any reactive people in your life?
Yeah. Well, sometimes when people are reacting to a situation, instead of thinking through something, how I'm going to do it, it's when something falls on their lap and they're like, this, I'll deal with it then. I deal with it instead of proactively dealing with it way before.
There you go. So being proactive means you get ahead of the game. That's a typical.
I like that saying, get ahead of the game.
Yeah, get ahead of the game. You don't wait for things to happen. You get ahead. You plan. You prepare. You get ahead of the game. But this goes a little further than that. Being proactive means you also are accountable and you take responsibility for your actions.
Right. Okay.
Now,
so being proactive, take responsibility for your actions.
Covey says that you are not just responsible, but you are also response-able.
Break that down for me. Okay, I heard it, but I didn't get it. I heard it, but I didn't get it. Break that down for me.
You're not just responsible.
Yeah.
You are also response-able.
Oh, okay.
So you're able to respond to any circumstances that come your way.
Right.
You do not have to go off the end when negative things happen to you. You can choose your response.
Right.
You have the ability to choose your response given any circumstances. You have that freedom of choice. Right. Now, this sounds easy to say.
It does, sounds good.
But it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
Covey gives us some examples from a gentleman called Viktor Frankl, who wrote an amazing book called Man's Search for Meaning.
It's a very good book.
It is.
Very good book.
Now, Frankl was a German, he was in a German concentration camp.
Yeah.
I think he was a psychologist. And one of the things that he noticed was that many people in the concentration camps at the time, they were very poorly treated. They were treated very ignobly. They would do things to their bodies, and it was terrible. And he noticed there were 2 types of people who came out of the experience.
Oh, okay.
Many died in the experience, but those who survived tended to be able to see their lives beyond the concentration camps.
Right.
These are the people who would give their coats away in the freezing cold. They would give their shoes away. They would give others cigarettes.
Incredible, isn't it?
Because they had a vision of what was going to happen beyond the concentration camp that was more powerful than anything that could be done to them.
So their circumstances didn't determine who they were going to be.
And they fundamentally believe that even though these guys have taken my liberty away, they cannot take my freedom of mind. They cannot.
That's powerful.
Right? So
that's powerful.
Now, if we take that to the next degree, if somebody does something negative to me, I don't have to jump off the deep end and go and smack them in the face. I don't have to do that.
Like road rage.
Yeah, don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't have to. You can choose your response, but it takes discipline to do it. And that's why if everybody was doing it, we'd all be highly effective.
Yeah.
Highly effective people, they take a stimulus and they put a gap between the stimulus and the actual response.
So when you say stimulus, what does that mean? So like stimulus is
something happens.
Right, stimulus is something that happens,
and then you respond.
Right, okay.
You can get that with Pavlov's dog. You remember Pavlov's dogs? You ring a bell and the dogs would salivate and they would be given food.
Yeah.
Right? You ring a bell, the dogs would salivate, you give them food.
Got it.
Right, ring a bell. Don't give them food. What are the dogs doing?
Still salivating.
Absolutely, because they've been conditioned.
Yeah.
There are certain individuals in our lives that when we see them or when we hear from them or when they enter into our world, we kind of go, oh man, it's him. Yeah. And sometimes we respond negatively to certain individuals or certain circumstances. Well, Covey reckons that you can put a gap in between the stimulus and the response.
Right. So those people are always angry. Something, yes, it's right, someone's made them angry, but their response, they don't have to keep on getting angry.
No.
They separated something in between.
That's right.
Right, okay.
Now, there's a little thing that you can do in between. I call it Icky. I hope you don't mind if I'm just going to write it down.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, what do you do in the gap? Well, in the gap between stimulus and response, we have self-awareness. So imagine somebody or something is affecting you. It's negative. But what does your self-awareness tell you about your circumstances? You should just process your thoughts around that for a few months. What does self-awareness tell you? What's happening? Just break it down for a few seconds. Then use your imagination. What does your imagination do for you? It gives you the ability to think about, well, what are my options here?
Oh, okay. So in that time you want to be self-aware, what's going on?
Yeah, and then you start to imagine.
Right.
And imagine not just the great things that could happen, imagine the negative things that could happen as well.
If I do this, or respond in this way.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So just use your imagination. If I did this, this could happen. If I did this, this could happen. And if I did this, this could happen. So just look at you look at what your imagination tells you, because your imagination gives you options.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Now, here's it. We haven't made a decision yet.
Yeah.
There is something inside our minds which is called
Conscience.
And it's like that little referee that sits on your shoulders.
The good, the bad.
Yeah, so looking at my options, if I do this one, according to my value set, that's not a great choice. But I could do this one. Imagine somebody cuts you up in a car, right? They get in front of you and you're furious about it, right? You say to yourself, well, I could crash into them, or I could drive around them and
cut them up.
Cut them out. I could blow my horn, I could flash my lights, right? So your imagination is going to give you all of those options, but your conscience tells you which of the choices that you have available to you, which one you should actually do.
That makes sense.
And your conscience is based on your values, your principles, the things that you hold dear to yourself, right? However, I know lots of people who consciously know what the right thing to do is.
And still do the wrong thing.
Still do the wrong thing.
Right, okay. Yeah, I know people like that
Still do the wrong thing. So at the end of the day, you must act on your independent, hope I've spelled that correctly, will.
Good.
Independent will. This is what you will actually go away on and do.
Yeah.
So you're self-aware, you've got some options, you consider what's the right thing to do, and this is choosing the right thing to do and behave that way.
And that's the process that you would follow.
Yeah, so something's happening to me in my life, right? I just need some time to think, because I don't want to go stimulus response. So I take myself away, physically give myself a little bit of time if at all possible.
Yeah.
I consider what is my self-awareness telling me about?
What's going on in this situation?
What's going on? Start to imagine some options. Start to think about, well, consciously, what is the right thing to do here? And then I go away, do the right thing.
Yeah.
This then enables me to make more informed choices.
Brilliant. And that's why when I was just thinking about this, when you look at the context of why a CEO of BT or something's on like 1.5 million.
There you go.
Because he's able to be able to say, here's the situation.
Yeah.
I'm able to take myself away,
Yeah.
do the self-awareness, imagination, conscience, independent will, and make good decisions, where loads of people don't do this, so they make lots of bad decisions.
Absolutely.
That's why they're not getting paid at 1 million. Just helping you out there, there's a little tip for you, man, if you're trying to have more money.
Absolutely.
Right,
and not only that, you know, you can separate yourself from a process, or you can separate yourself from a decision. You can separate yourself from various external things which are happening to you. You can say, well, no, that's not me, and you can act in accordance with your values and your principles.
Awesome. Got that.
Got it. Right. So if we bring back
that one, you got it. There we go.
So we're now learning about what it means to be proactive. I love the way Covey described it once when I was listening to his tapes many years ago. Being proactive means you are the programmer of your life.
Love that. So taking personal responsibility.
Yeah. I am the programmer. Nobody writes my program but me.
I'm going to say right. And loads of people don't do that.
Absolutely.
Those people are not doing that.
So take responsibility, because you are response-able.
Able. Like that. Response-able. We'll have to put that at the bottom of the screen. Response-able.
There you go.
Awesome. Habit number 1. Loving that.
Be proactive.
Yeah.